Olympia champion, Ashley Caldwell. Ashley?
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. So today I'm going to talk about longevity in the sport. All right. So I'm coming at this from two different angles, the mental and the physical. But if I'm honest, I think the mental is a little bit more important, and I'll get into why. So I don't have the exact stats on this, but I can imagine the highest drop-off rate for competitors is honestly in that first year or that first few shows. So I'm kind of talking to our newbie competitors. I think the biggest mistake that everyone makes when they're new is their expectations. In a perfect world, you would win your first show, win your second show, get your pro card that same year, qualify for Olympia, and then win the Olympia. Wouldn't that be nice? But in all reality, that's darn near impossible. It hasn't been done yet. In fact, there is no such thing as a defeated bikini competitor at the Olympia. So that means these girls you see at the top at the Olympia, they've lost. Maybe they've even gotten second call out before. In fact, I know some of them even got 16th place before, okay? So sometimes it's not the individual that starts off as like a superstar that makes it to the top. It's the individual that didn't give up. It's the individual that kept going and learned from every single mistake. And I will tell you what, I've competed a lot and I'm still learning, okay? So as a newbie competitor or your first year or your first few years, have a little bit of grace for yourself and just don't give up. You just got to learn. You got to keep pushing through because you could be a future Miss Bikini Olympia, but if you give up, that's not going to happen. I'm going to use myself as an example. My first show was the 2011 Arnold Amateur. I chose a really big show for my first one, but I'm from Akron, Ohio, so kind of made sense just to drive a few hours to Columbus. Anyway, my first show, I got 14th place in my height class, okay? So not the worst, but obviously not the best. And after that, I was like, geez, I know I can do better. So what I did was I became a master of my craft, and I studied and I researched and I watched the Arnold Amateur every single night on YouTube. So that the following year, guess what? I won the whole thing. Not just my height class. I was the Arnold Amateur Champion 2012. So quite a big jump, right? But I didn't let my, I guess, not ideal placing hold me back. I went back and I studied. I fixed my hair, my makeup, my tan, my suit. You should have seen my first show. It was not the best. I got like a white suit from Target. I got a salon spray tan. It wasn't a competition spray tan. I bleached my hair blonde. It was a mess. My posing was a mess. Physique could have been better too. But can you imagine if I just gave up after that? It was disappointing for sure, but I learned from my mistakes. And I continue to try to learn from my mistakes. So in this sport, you need to have your expectations in check. Everyone wants to win, of course. You should train like you're going to win, but just realize this sport it takes a while. It's this sport's so competitive, and it's not like you can just train for a few months and then kill it. I mean, sometimes it happens, I'm sure, but that's not the norm, okay? So you kind of have to be in this for the long run. So having good expectations, I think, is very, very helpful. You have to have like a level head for this and just realize it's not always going to be your day, So you can prepare as much as you want, but sometimes the body does what it does, especially as girls, right? So it's important just to allow yourself some grace and just know that, like, hey, I did everything I could, and whatever happens today, I got to be happy with it because I did all I could do, left no stone unturned. I think another reason why you'll see people fall off is because they maybe won and then they expect to win every time after that. So as you get into these bigger shows, as you get into the national level, you're no longer a big fish in a small pond. You're now a small fish in a big pond. So competition obviously will get more and more intense as you move up the ranks. But I think it's important to have gratitude throughout this whole process because, yeah, it does suck sometimes when you don't do as well as you expected. But if you look at it from a zoomed out perspective, like, hey, you're doing more than 95% of the population has done. I'm sure they all want to look like you, no matter if you got first place or 16th. And getting on stage itself is quite the accomplishment. And I do believe that it gives you lessons and it gives you a sense of like, I can do this for other aspects of your life too. So it kind of carries over. Like, if I can do this 16-week prep and give it my all, heck, I can do anything. I feel like that's given me a lot of my personality, I guess. It's kind of formed my personality and given me that attitude, like, you know what, if I can do this, I can do anything. So it's important to have gratitude along the way. It goes far. And just remember where you came from. So as you get better, as you get more successful, just remember your first show, your first few shows. And as you get into maybe a pro, remember your first pro win, your first sponsorship. Don't forget it. Because sometimes as you become more successful, I see a lot of times that gratitude can become greed and you expect things. And I think that can also kind of shorten your career from a mental aspect. Now, if we're talking about physical, I guess I'm kind of known for staying close to stage weight or stage shape, I should say. And I do believe personally that has helped me go the distance. Now, when I say that, I want you to also realize that I don't stay like stage lean all year, but I stay within, I would say, a pretty good range, maybe like 10 pounds, okay? And I see girls go off way too far. And, they might be able to do it for a year or two, but it makes it really hard on your body each and every time you do that, okay? And if you're fluctuating by 30 pounds or so, that's not healthy. And a lot of people will try to convince you otherwise and say that you need it or you're allowing yourself a rest. And yeah, you're resting, but that's not ideal. You can't be doing like a transformation every time you prep for a show. Okay. I've also seen it the opposite way, where girls will stay like literally stage lean all year round. And that's not ideal either because your body can only hold up for so long in that sense as well. So it's important to have like a good, comfortable, range of what you stay in the off season, because a lot of times the off season is more important than prep itself. So you have to set yourself up for a good prep. Not only that, it's if we're talking about like skin, and I know we had that conversation about cellulite or loose skin or stretch marks. Your skin can only be an accordion so many times, okay? Especially as you get older, you can't be doing 30-pound fluctuations each and every prep. Now, if you're like a taller girl, of course you have a little more leeway than somebody that's smaller. So I don't want to put like a weight amount on it. I think what we usually say 10% of your body weight. Like 10% of your body weight in the off season, that's totally reasonable. You still look like a fit athlete and you're not going into every single prep like it's like the biggest loser type thing. That's hard on your body. It really is. But I always, like I said, I stay within like 10 pounds. I try to. And I think that's really, really helped me out because when I do go to prep, it's not so hard for me. I'm not doing hours of cardio. I'm 6 weeks out from Olympia. I'm doing 2 cardio sessions a week, 30 minutes, okay? So everyone's different, but I think it's also important to allow your body to rest. A lot of people think I'm just like go, go, go 100%, 365 days a year. That is not the case. After like a little season, I will take like a week break, no gym, and a little bit looser with the diet, okay? And most importantly, I listen to my body. If I am feeling run down, if I'm feeling tired, if my body is not cooperating with me, that is a sign like, okay, time to take a little break. I don't push myself into shows if I'm not improving. If I look and I'm getting worse each show, that's a sign like, okay, time to take a little bit of an off season here. So that's exactly what I do. And I think that's helped me. I think a lot of people think that like if they take a little week break off here and there, they're going to lose all their muscle. That is not the case. That shouldn't happen. So I think breaks are great, letting the body rest, recover. You feel rejuvenated afterwards, and it sets you up for a good prep and a good season. So, just be aware of your health, how you feel, how you look. Are you looking better each show? Are you looking worse each show? And especially like for amateurs, you know what? If you're not ready for this show coming up, hey, there's probably one in 2 weeks or something. So don't force your body into doing something it's not ready for. So I think that's what's helped me along the way. Do you have anything to add, Adam? My coach, my amazing coach. Can I have a round of applause for Adam? Yeah, Coach Adam, stand up, stand up. That's Coach Adam. He loves carbs. He loves carbs. Yes, carbs. Is there anything else?
I think everyone can agree here that you did a really good job with that.
Oh,
That was really good, right? I don't know if there's really much else there besides you having mental fortitude and always being driven. That's the one thing that I will say that as a coach, when you're as a coach, I tell everyone you kind of gotta be lucky as a coach, right? Because there's only so many Mike Tysons out there. All these boxing coaches, right? They want Mike Tyson to walk through the door because you can't create that. They have to be that, right? You can make them their best, but they have to be that person, right? And you're that person that every coach would be lucky to have.
Thank you.
And so you're the Mike Tyson of bikini. And so that's the thing is your mindset coming into it. Your coach can only do so much. I can only tell you so many things in an email to motivate you. If I'm your external source of motivation for an hour because you're checking, great. But it's going to last a day. It has to come from within. So you really have to want it. You really have to find your why and remember the reasoning why you want to do this. It could be launching a fitness career, but hang on to that why, identify it, and hang on to it every day. Ashley hers is a great why. She wants to be a legend, and she's still not convinced that she is, and I think that's great.
Not yet.
I think she is, but I really don't want to convince her because I want her to keep winning and keep being driven every day. But it's important to hang on to the why, and that why could change too. Like for me, when I started, I just wanted to be able to pay for my mom to have a good living, like a good life, and then that changed. She doesn't need that from me anymore. So then it became, okay, I want to just get enough so I can have a good life, right? And then it became, okay, now I want to be a legend. So it's like things change, all the time, and you have to be able to listen to yourself and say, why am I doing this? Where's my motivation at? Because this stuff is so hard. Mm-hmm. It's just so hard. It's harder than any other sport. 365, 24/7. Every other sport requires training hard, but this requires powering hard. You're eating, you're sleeping, your mentalness in the gym. So just hang on to your why, I guess I'd say. Absolutely. And watch more AshleyKfit videos.
Oh, shush. Yes, and one thing I would like to end off with is, a lot of people, a lot of the amateurs look up to us pros and think we're perfect all the time and that we've got all this motivation every single day and, we never mess up. And that is not the case. I have my days where I'm not motivated. I have my days where I have a workout and it's like, blah, but hey, when you're in that kind of mindset and you feel vulnerable and you want to give in with your diet or whatever, just think of the bigger picture, because you know what? Meeting your goal tastes way better than that pizza and beer. I promise you, because that only lasts like maybe 15 minutes, but meeting your goal lasts a lifetime. And some of the best memories I've made were competing, and the best lessons I've learned were from bikini, and the best people I've made friends with is because of the sport of bikini. So I am forever grateful. And if I'm ever feeling like I'm in a grumpy mood, I remind myself, dang, I got it good. I chose this, but this is a fun life. And it can be fun for you guys too. You just got to be smart about things.